For more than a decade, one company sold more phones than anyone on Earth. At its peak it was worth $250 billion, and roughly 4 out of every 10 phones sold anywhere on the planet had its name on them. Cutout, red_arrow.png right. 6 years later, that entire phone business was sold off for about $7 billion, and then quietly written down to nothing. This is how Nokia, the undisputed king of the mobile phone, lost almost everything. Nokia did not begin as a technology company. It started in 1865 as a Finnish paper mill. Over the next century it made rubber boots, car tires, and electrical cables. Then, in the 1990s, it bet everything on a strange new idea, that one day, everyone would carry a telephone in their pocket. The bet paid off beyond anyone's imagination. By 1998, Nokia was the #1 mobile phone maker in the world, a position it would hold for 14 straight years. Its phones were everywhere. One single model became the best-selling phone in history, moving around 250 million units. The famous ringtone, the game of Snake, the indestructible handset you could drop on concrete, for a whole generation, a phone simply meant a Nokia. The company grew so large that it became the pride of an entire nation. At its height, Nokia alone accounted for around 4% of Finland's economy and a massive share of its stock market. It looked completely untouchable. And that is exactly the moment these stories always turn. In January 2007, a competitor walked onto a stage in California and revealed a phone with no keypad, just a single sheet of glass you touched with your fingers. It was expensive, the battery was weak, and it couldn't even send picture messages at first. Inside Nokia, the reaction was calm, almost amused. Their engineers had tested touchscreens for years and set them aside. Their phones were cheaper, tougher, and sold by the hundreds of millions. Why panic over one costly gadget for rich enthusiasts? But they had misread everything. The new phone was not really a phone, it was a pocket computer. A year later, Google released Android and gave it away free to every other manufacturer. Suddenly the whole industry was racing toward touchscreens and apps, and Nokia was standing still. Cutout, cracked_phone.png left. The problem sat deep inside their phones. Nokia's software, called Symbian, was brilliant for the keypad era, but it was slow, complicated, and painful to build modern apps for. Developers went to the iPhone and Android instead. And without apps, even the best hardware felt old. Look at the smartphone market and you can watch it happen. In 2007 Nokia's software ran on close to half of the world's smartphones. Cutout, down_graph.png left. Within a few years, that lead was evaporating, not slowly, but faster every single quarter. In 2010, Nokia brought in a new chief executive, the first from outside Finland, a former Microsoft man named Stephen Elop. A few months later, an internal memo he wrote leaked to the world. In it, he compared Nokia to a man standing on a burning oil platform in the freezing sea. The man has only seconds to decide, stay and burn, or leap into the icy water below with no guarantee he'll survive. Nokia, he wrote, was standing on a burning platform, and it was time to jump. Cutout, broken_chain.png right. Then he told them where to jump. Instead of fixing Symbian or backing their own promising new system, Nokia would tie its entire future to Microsoft's Windows Phone. In one announcement, the company declared that almost everything it currently sold was a dead end. And that decision triggered a trap with a famous name. The moment Nokia told the world its current phones were obsolete, customers stopped buying them, but the new Windows phones weren't ready yet. For months, Nokia was left with almost nothing to sell. It is one of the most dangerous mistakes in business, announcing the future so loudly that you destroy your own present. Sales didn't just slow. They fell off a cliff. Cutout, burning_money.png right. What followed was one of the fastest collapses a company that size had ever seen. In just a few years Nokia lost around 90% of its market value. The Windows phones, called Lumia, were actually well made, but almost no one was building apps for them, and buyers had already moved on. Every quarter brought worse news, falling sales, deeper losses, thousands of jobs cut. The company that had defined the mobile phone was now watching rivals it once ignored take its customers, one country at a time. Cutout, gavel.png left. And then, in September 2013, came the ending almost no one could have imagined a decade earlier. Nokia agreed to sell its entire phone business, the handsets, the factories, the brand on the devices, to Microsoft. The business once worth $250 billion changed hands for about $7 billion. And it got worse. Barely a year after the deal closed, Microsoft wrote almost the entire value off, cut thousands more jobs, and effectively shut the phone line down. The king of phones was gone. Here is the part most people miss. Nokia the company did not die. The phones were only ever one part of it. The rest, the giant business that builds the network equipment behind the mobile world, survived, refocused, and still exists today, quietly powering the very networks our smartphones run on. But the empire of handsets was finished, and its fall left a lesson that every giant should fear. Nokia did almost nothing wrong by the old rules. It made reliable, profitable, popular phones right up to the end. That was the trap. The world stopped rewarding the thing it was best at, and by the time it truly understood that, it was already too late. Success had made Nokia certain. Certainty made it slow. And in a market that reinvents itself every few years, being slow is the one mistake you cannot afford. Every empire looks permanent, right up until the moment it isn't. Nokia didn't collapse in a single crash or a single scandal. It collapsed quietly, one confident decision at a time. And that is usually how the biggest ones fall.